Yeah, awesome. So I'm Megan Henningsen. I work for the Center for Global Engagement. So I'm here for like logistical purposes. You've probably received an email from me at this point in time. If not, you will receive emails from me in the future. So just so you have a face to the name. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I think everyone knows me.
Oh, perfect.
That's okay.
Yeah, I get to help out. I'm Professor Willis. I teach Spanish in the language program. Teach upper level Latin American literature and culture.
We're going to team teaching this course.
I'm Nathan Reed. I'm an anthropology major and a biology minor. Junior.
I'm Guy Broom. I'm a history major with anthropology major with a history minor.
I'm Molly, and I'm an anthropology major, minoring in history, and I'm a sophomore.
Thank you guys for indulging me on that. All right, so there's just like a little excerpt about the course, but thankfully we have the professors here. So if you guys just want to talk about it a little bit, talk about like your idea for it.
Sure, yeah, I've been working down in the Virgin Islands since 2014, I think, and doing work on a variety of things. I've taken a number of students down there. Even one of our former faculty members, Dr. Owali, knew her. She was one of my students. She went down there and working on a number of issues related to environmental change and the effects of humans and human settlement on the island. As an island, it's a unique setting because it's by itself relatively, and but so there's issues related to human settlement, the Native Americans and what they did and how they altered the plant and animal communities. And then when the Danish came in and the Spanish and French, mostly them, they also settled in and started doing a number of different things in terms of growing cane and cotton. We're going to look at the Spanish period. St. Croix is one of the first places where Columbus landed in 1493, and it may be one of the first documented skirmishes or battle between the Old and New World. And we're going to be going to that site. There's a number of forts there that we'll be looking at, Spanish, French, and the biggest ones are Danish. And so we're going to be looking at that era, Danish. There's a botanical garden there that we'll go in and start and look at some of the plants that are native there and some that aren't, some that were brought in by humans, and talk about the history of human settlement there. There's usually during this time period, there's turtle hatching going on. And so I'm working on trying to get us in touch with the Fish and Wildlife Services so we can go out and help with the turtle hatching, because the turtles come up when they're hatching, and then they start to crawl out to the ocean. But that particular ocean has sharks in it, so we take them to a different part of the island, and release them over there, and that's kind of a lot of fun. Archaeologically, I'm working with one of the landowners down there his property is where Alexander Hamilton's aunt and uncle used to live, and apparently Alexander Hamilton's mother is buried there, and they're wanting us to investigate where that might be. And so if all that works out, we'll be doing a little bit of archaeological investigation too, looking for Alexander Hamilton's mother's grave on this, basically a former sugar plantation. So we'll be looking at all that there. There's also the enslaved populations. We can bring in that history of the island and look at some of the plantations there, a couple of different plantations there. That's what comes to mind. Hey, what else can you think of? Yeah,
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's what on the top of my head. This actually is where the turtles hatch. Yeah.
The turtle thing is really cool.
Yeah. Has anybody ever seen Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
The very last scene when he goes to a beach, that was filmed on this beach.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions about course content, anything like that?
Will there be anything about like pirates?
Interestingly, yes, there are still pirates there. That's what I've been told. I haven't actually experienced them, but yes, we can certainly get into that. Yeah, there's a small island near St. Croix that has sort of historically been used for pirates because it's kind of more secluded. So yeah, we can get into that too. So the structure of the class, we're going to meet on campus a couple of times at the very end of the semester. So we won't be doing anything all semester long. And then at the very end of the semester, we'll be meeting to give us some background about the history of the place. And then we're going to go down, then we'll fly down to the Virgin Islands and basically have the rest of the class down there. We'll be visiting some museums and, various things each day. But we're also in the Caribbean, so we're going to have some fun too, so it'll be, there's interesting foods, the Caribbean culture. And, there's, in fact, Bruce and I are teaching another class that got me thinking, I'm teaching a food class right now. And that part of that class idea came from St. Croix because it's, the foods are so different based on the different colonies and the Native Americans and the enslaved people that were brought over too. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Sounds super exciting. So Dr. Foster touched on this a little bit, but you guys will be having a few classes during the spring semester of 2024. So this will count as like your spring course load. So 3 credits towards that. The trip at the end of the course will happen around the 13th of May to the 27th, tentatively, meaning it may change by like a day or two because of flights. If we find a cheaper flight, we'll book it. This course can be taken as a block 2 course if that's what you're needing, but it sounds like most of you guys are anthropology majors, minors, so you can also apply it towards that.
There's actually a few ways we can do it. We can take it as a field class because we'll be doing some field work, or you can take it as like an upper level class.
That's like a practicum.
Yeah, we can do that. We've got a variety of ways that we can do that in the department. Also, a really important aspect is the Department of Anthropology has a pocket of money that we're using. You may have heard of it, called the Odell Foundation. And the Odell Foundation Committee has decided to set aside $15,000 for the first 10 students who apply. And so you can get up to $1,500, which makes the cost of this whole trip, including flight, transportation, and housing, $1,500, which is a bargain, for two weeks in the Caribbean.
So the 3 of us would already have.
I mean, you'd have to apply for it, but it's a form. I don't know if y'all applied for Odell before. It's not that hard. And so,
And I'll talk a little bit about that as well.
okay, yeah, sorry.
No, yeah.
Getting ahead of myself, yeah.
No, I love that because that's a big selling point, right?
Yeah, it's actually pretty big. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. So
You
again,
don't have to be an anthropology major for that.
No.
Yeah, just apply for it.
So again, the cost of this course is $3,000, and that's pretty all inclusive. It includes the flight, ground transportation, all the excursions and things that are on the itinerary. Basically, the only things you'll need to really budget for on top of that course fee are souvenirs and then anything extra that you're going to want to be doing in St. Croix. Again, there's the $1,500 scholarship that will be available to the first 10 students that commit to the class and complete the necessary requirements. We have an internal form, which I'll show you how to get there and fill it out. And then they have another form, it sounds like, through you guys?
Yeah, it's for the Odell thing. It's
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they've probably encountered it before.
Okay, cool, awesome. So yeah, any questions about costs? It'll be billed through TU, so it'll show up on your normal statement, like whatever you see whenever you enroll for the spring.
What I have to do is I have to give an incomplete, and this is how, even if you're graduating that semester, I give an incomplete. When we come back, then I do the final grade. This right here, this is one of the Danish forts I'm talking about right here. This is called Fort Christiansværn. And this is where whenever people were traders would come in and they would bring it into basically where all goods that were coming in and out of the island would come to this building and it would be weighed. This is an area where enslaved people were brought in. So that's basically the main port right there.
I guess we're going to talk about forts. We're going to talk about pirates, right?
About Fort Smith.
If we're going to talk about forts, we're going to talk about pirates.
Sure, yeah, right, yeah. That town is probably the largest town. It's called Christiansted, but it's not big.
Cool how they turned that into a water slide there.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, it doesn't look like one, but okay.
This is the botanical garden. It's I love going there every time I go. It's just got wide variety of plants. A lot of them, you know, you could just walk through the botanical gardens and talk about the history of the island in terms of humans bringing over different plants and how they got there. And so everything from, you know, black-eyed peas to, you know, manioc that comes from South America. It's all there. It's really good to see.
Very beautiful. So a little bit about like the enrollment logistics. So you guys will not enroll yourself in the course. And the reason for that is because last year we had students like adding it to self-service enrolling, not understanding that it was a travel class with an extra fee. So this year, what we'll do is we'll have you complete our internal registration, which it sounds like a couple of you have done. And then by December 1st, which is our commitment deadline, we will manually enroll you ourselves. So no need to worry about that. You may want to talk to your student success coach about what you want it to transfer as and how it fits into your degree plan, but we'll actually do the enrollment part. When I say commitment by December 1st, whenever you actually click the Apply Now button and register, it does not commit you to the course. There's an actual form that says Travel Course Commitment Form. Don't sign that until you're for sure going to go on this course. So you have until that December 1st deadline to do that. After that, we'll start making the logistical arrangements, booking flights, doing all of those things. So after that December 1st deadline, you can't drop out and there's going to be no refunds or anything like that because we will have already started making those arrangements. Any questions about enrollment?
Where can you find those documents that have to sign?
Yeah, those are on your internal registration, which I'll get to in a second. I'll kind of show you what it looks like. I'll talk about grants first and then I'll talk about that if that's all right. So these travel grants are also all housed on the internal application, which I can show you what that looks like. There's a couple big ones. There's one called the Critical Need Grant. All of our grants are due November 15th. So before you actually commit to the class, so we can let you know if you got the funds before you have to commit or not. The Critical Need Grant, basically, if you have any form of financial need for this class, definitely apply for that. What we'll do is we'll check your need level with financial aid, and we have a certain pot of money that we can use, and we try to make it more accessible. So we'll deal that out between all the students who qualify and apply for that grant. Additionally, we have 2 leadership roles on this course, one called the Foreign Correspondent. These are smaller grants, so each one is $300 each. The foreign correspondent basically will be managing social media while you're abroad. So you'll submit photos to me, which shouldn't be too difficult because I'm sure you'll be taking tons and tons of photos because it's absolutely wonderful there. You will write a blog post for me whenever you come back that we'll put on our website, and you're open to be as creative as you would like with that. And then you will do an Instagram takeover while you're there. So we'll give you the Instagram login for our CGE Instagram page, and you'll just like take us through one of your days while you're in St. Croix. And then there's the Global Engagement Mentor Grant. That's kind of like a peer mentor on the trip. Basically, you will just be checking in on the students. You'll be the liaison between like the students and the faculty. So if you notice that like you guys are really tired and a couple kids are struggling, let the professors know like, hey, I think that we need to kind of slow it down a little bit. Things like that. You'll help me with some logistical arrangements, make sure all the students are in the group WhatsApp, stuff like that. So pretty minor. And then whenever you get back, you will attend one of my events where you'll talk about your experiences on the class. So those are pretty competitive because we've only got one space for each for the class. So definitely check that out and apply. And then finally, we have the special grant that Dr. Foster was talking about. And in the actual application, it's labeled as CGE Travel Grant for students participating in TU travel courses. A mouthful, but it's linked right in the page. That's what you'll complete to get the $1,500. So you'll commit to the course and you'll complete that application in order to get that money, and we'll apply it on the back end.
The money from our anthropology department?
Yes.
So they have an internal thing and ours.
Yes.
I don't want to have to do, you know, should duplicate forms a whole lot. We can make the Odell thing fairly simple for you. I didn't know about this thing, this form.
I can, do we want to change that part?
I don't know what it's for. I don't know why would they need to apply it there to get something from our department?
It's just how we normally manage it, and we'll just get the GL code, but if you would rather manage it, that's fine too.
We can talk about it later.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I will follow up with an email, but If not, we can link their application in the same spot so that you have
Yeah, maybe
access to it.
that's, maybe that, so they don't do two applications.
Yeah. So we could definitely do that as well. So this is what the course website looks like, and I got your guys' email, so I will send it to you if you haven't seen it yet. This is what I was talking about for the registration. So when you want to register, you'll click this Apply Now button, and it'll generate a registration form for you that will have a whole bunch of action items. It'll just be collecting pretty basic information like your passport, info, general health and safety things. You'll have to sign a couple documents, and that also includes the travel commitment form. If you look at these buttons right here, when you click this, application process, deadline, and scholarships, that's where all the scholarships I was talking about are linked. So you'll just click through those to actually apply. Any questions so far?
You'll email us this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so this is what the internal application looks like. So after you click that Apply Now button, these are some of your action items. Again, there's that travel course commitment form. Don't sign that until you're like for sure gonna go on the class. And there's also a little commitment button that you click, but we mainly go by the form because sometimes people accidentally click that button. So, yeah, questions, comments?
Do we need a passport for this or just a real ID?
So last trip that went, because we had a group go to St. Croix, they did need a passport to come back to like stateside. I will double check. I'm pretty sure you do need one.
I've been there many, many times, and every single time I've gone, they say, no, you don't. So I'm pretty sure that the answer is no, you do not need a passport. It's the United States. But I always take mine anyway, just because I have it.
Mhm.
I mean, I would, go get your passport anyway. You need it for the rest of your life, but
I have one. I was just wondering.
yeah.
If you got one, bring it. It's better to.
It just makes it easier. It makes it easier. Yeah, but technically, no, you don't.
Also because of the real ID thing going on, that like supposedly our licenses are in Oklahoma are getting up to snuff, right, to be on the same level, but they're not there yet.
Right.
So the passport is a better thing.
For sure. And if you don't have one, we have a passport grant that we thought you may be eligible for. So let me know after this and I can see if you qualify for that, and hopefully we can get you a passport for free.
Something else I forgot to mention is if y'all are into snorkeling, there's an underwater national park there that you can basically snorkel through all the exhibits, sort of coral exhibits and that kind of stuff. It's interesting.
I would like that.
So what?
I said I would like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Stop the recording.